The dip creates scarcity. Scarcity creates value. Hey there, Lincoln here from bullacademy.org. Today I want to talk to you about something very important. As an investor, you need to understand how the game works, why it gets tough at times, and how you can get through it all so that you can end up on top and reap the benefits of your convictions. As the stock market falls, I've been looking for places for inspiration to stay in. It's hard, I know, it's a mental game that we're all playing. You have to teach yourself that it's all temporary. These dips, we've seen them so many times before, and we're going to see them again, but we have to learn how to get through them. So I looked to The Dip by Seth Godin. In this book, he discusses how the dip works and why it's important to understand which dips you can and should get through, and which dips can become cul-de-sacs in which you have very limited upside potential and you should quit. So today we're going to discuss when it's right to quit and when it's important to just stay in the game and keep going. If you get through this whole video, you'll understand the importance of staying in the game, and you will be one of the few who benefit from these dips, who reaps the rewards, who builds outsized wealth just by staying invested. But before we get to that, if you enjoyed this video, do me a big favor and like the video below, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and comment your thoughts. It's important that you engage, because if you don't, YouTube won't recommend my videos, and I can't continue to make these videos for all of us to learn and build wealth together. So all you have to do is just engage below, like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you in advance, and now let's get back to the video. Buy the dip, sell the cul-de-sacs. In his book, The Dip, Seth Godin noted that everything in life worth doing is controlled by the dip. The dip creates scarcity. Scarcity creates value. That is what you need to take away from this video. You can stop now, and if you understand just that, you will be fine. But if you want to be one of the few who really builds outsized wealth and retires early, you should keep watching, because we have a lot to discuss. This very small book had a great impact on me. It reaffirmed what I already learned to be true. The dip is your friend if you can recognize the right ones and quit the wrong ones. The lessons from this book can be applied to life generally. But for you, as an investor, listen to what I share here and try your best to apply it to your investments. Let's dive in. The dip filters out everyone who quits too soon, and it makes getting to the other side worthwhile for those who do. Most people never make it through the dip. However, the dip can reveal whether you have what it takes to make it through as one of the few who ascend to the top. If you don't have the skills nor the passion to be one of the few, the dip becomes a cul-de-sac, a dead end. Much like a dead-end job, you'll linger in the cul-de-sac with no hope for upside potential. You don't want to stay in the cul-de-sac. Quit. The cul-de-sac reveals that this endeavor isn't the right one for you. You should take your resources elsewhere. The next thing will also have a dip, but that might just be the one you can and should get through. Thus, the key to success is knowing when to push through the dip and when to quit the cul-de-sac. Of course, that means you need to learn how to distinguish the two. You'll start out with few skills and little perspective. So you'll need to learn with trial and error. Don't be afraid of walking away. If you fail to quit the things in which you have little upside potential, you'll never find the ones that may be right for you. On the other hand, if you quit the things that present difficult obstacles in the short term, you'll never get through the dip to participate in the upside you worked for. See, most people will quit most things. Others will fail to quit anything. In either case, they succumb to the dip. They fail at everything or live in mediocrity. The reason for this is that most people never learn to focus on the long term. Consequently, Most people never learn that the dip is their friend. Those who focus on the long term understand the purpose of the dip. The dip is good. The dip eliminates your competition. It's the thing that gets you to the life that you want for yourself. Unlike the majority of people, of workers, of investors, you just need to be able to see past the short-term obstacles and work in service of the long-term rewards. The beautiful thing about the dip is that if you can get through it, it helps you become the best in the world. And the world, the market, usually rewards the best with exponentially more than the rest of the field combined. In the book, Seth illustrates this point simply with examples from ice cream to executives. The top ice cream flavor, that's vanilla, has double the market share of the second best, chocolate, which in turn has greater market share than the rest of the top 10 combined. The same is true for the top movie on any given blockbuster night. The top athletes and executives get paid exponentially more than their lower echelon peers. The top investors retain 90% of all the gains in the stock market. The rest of the field either gets stuck in too many cul-de-sacs or they quit the dip too soon, right before they could achieve something worthwhile. The thing about the world is your definition is all that matters. You can be the best in your world at what you do. The only constraint is that the market, your world, has to care and support whatever it is that you do. You just have to be the best at what you do for the right person or people when they need you. Being the best is easier than most people think. All it takes is recognizing the cul-de-sacs along the way and finding the right dips to get through. From there, you need to do whatever it takes to get through. You have what it takes. You just need to embrace the short-term pain in service of your long-term gains. As for quitting, it's painful, but you must do it when the circumstances call for it. If you don't quit the cul-de-sac, it eventually becomes a cliff. With cliffs, you don't have a choice. Failure is imminent. Right before this point, you've given up on any belief of upside. You've plateaued. In work, this means demotion or losing your job. In business, you might shut down with no notice to stakeholders or go bankrupt. In relationships, you have a bad breakup or a murder. In life, you fall into Great Depression and or chronic illness or suicide. Those are the spectrums of what the cliff has to offer. None of them are good. None of them are worthwhile results. Do not linger in the cul-de-sacs. Quit. I've quit almost everything I've ever done to get where I am today. From here, I'll quit almost everything I'm doing today to become the best at whatever I believe will be in the greatest service to the life I want in the long term. In middle school, I played basketball and football. I eventually added track and field to the list in service of the former two. In 9th grade, I quit basketball due to injuries. In 10th grade, I quit football to focus on track and field. My former teammates weren't happy with me, but I had enough perspective to recognize that I was in the cul-de-sac of my football ambitions. I wasn't good enough to get to the next level. However, I knew that I could get to the next level in track if I could dedicate my resources to just that. The next level will be scholarships for university. That worked. Next, at university, I recognized that getting to the next level of track, professional racing, was not what I wanted. To get to this realization, I had to admit to myself that I did not have the necessary skills and talents, nor enough remaining passion to take the necessary steps towards such an achievement. I also realized that a marketing major, which was my first choice, wouldn't give me the skills I needed for my envisioned long-term success. I exited these dips before they became cul-de-sacs. In their stead, I focused all my efforts on becoming the best computer science major. Now, it took a great deal of grit to not join the majority in quitting. I knew this was the right dip for me. When it got tough, I remembered that I was exactly where I needed to be. Becoming a software engineer would give me the resources I needed for finding and getting through the next dip in service of my long-term goals. To that end, I endured the many short-term pains. After many years, I made it through the dip. Since getting through that dip, I've started my professional career. Thanks to that dip, it's highly rewarding. I'm excelling at it. I've been through many dips to arrive here, at that very declaration. The times that I felt the pain was unbearable are still fresh in my memory. But the spoils of transcending the dip drown out that which is now only noise. When I stop feeling this way, that I'm excelling, I'll consider quitting whatever I'm doing at the time if I recognize a cul-de-sac. From there, I'll set my sights on finding the next dip. I'll let the dip eliminate my competition as I master the field. The dip will create scarcity. That scarcity will create the value we are all after. Now, let's bring this back to the stock market directly. All of this applies to investing in the stock market as much as it does anything else in life. The stock market is in a massive dip. Most people will quit right before what would be great gains. Furthermore, and very unfortunately, the majority of those who stay in the dip will fail to take advantage of it. Even in good times, most people invest in companies that amount to cul-de-sacs. Don't be one of the majority. The majority, as we know, is always wrong. Learn how to recognize the cul-de-sacs and quit them as soon as possible, and find the dips that are worth getting through, and then just get through them. Do not linger. Do not be mediocre. You have what it takes. Do not quit. All you have to do to get to that life that you envision is to just stay in the game. Stay invested. As always, I'm wishing you the very best in this journey as we go through it together on our own paths. You have been watching bullacademy.org on YouTube, where we teach long-term investing by breaking down concepts and sharing the stories of companies to help you build long-lasting sustainable wealth. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did and want to see more like it, please remember to like the video below, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and comment your thoughts on this topic, even if you just want to say hi. Hi. I would love to hear from you, and I always do my best to respond to every comment. If you would like to engage with me outside of YouTube, feel free to follow me over on Instagram at Lincoln W. Daniel, where I share random thoughts on life and wealth building. As always, this video has been brought to you by our patrons at patreon.bullacademy.org, who support this channel financially to help us keep going and help me brainstorm new video ideas to share with all of you. We do the show together, and we do all of this in our private Discord chat, where we discuss the stock market in real time every day by sharing news, rumors, and new investment ideas, so we can all do our own research and then come back together and collaborate. So if you're interested in any of that, I hope you'll join us over at patreon.bullacademy.org. I'm Lincoln with bullacademy.org. Thank you again, and have a great day.